Wait, I'm sorry, are we live, Lily? Okay. Yeah.
We changed committees.
Well, we're glad you're here. You can fill in for Senator Nethercott.
Were you on the last one?
Yeah, I did. The committee gets changed. Well,
I think we're outnumbered here.
We are, but
It's all right.
it takes two of them for one of
Few,
us.
but mighty.
So, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, this is a conference committee on House Bill 14, Civil Case Filing Fees Amendments.
Okay.
And what we have is we've had a previous committee. House Bill 14 provided for uniform filing fees across the state. And of course, the Senate hates uniformity, so that we, and DFS had teary eyes, and they came to the meeting and they were crying. And so it was, we just softened and we said that we would give them an exception till they could be through with their budget, so that until the next budget would take place, which would be July 1st, 2024, they would have a different schedule. Your members didn't really like that. There was a big push for uniformity. We, at that meeting, tossed out the possibility of having DFS have the reduced filing fees for only 6 months of the fiscal year, and that they would, so that those filing fees would increase for them on January 1st of 2024. And then the thinking is, we would be in not too short after that, we could get them a supplemental appropriations, within 2 or 3 months, within the first quarter. So that's still on the table. I think that's a good solution. But also, we had, I got kind of called down at the governor's office. And the governor's office is proposing that we add a appropriation. And so I have an amendment that would do that. So what that would look like would be to accept the Senate amendment to the bill and then put in this appropriation. So
Let's take a look.
and let's do, and you guys need to see this, or have you seen it? It's 47,800 from state funds, and it's 79,200 from federal funds. And so what that would mean, actually, we would remove the Senate amendment, I misspoke. So the clerks would see uniform filing fees, DFS would pay uniform fees, but they'd get money on the other side. So is that a possibility?
Well, we came with the exact same amendment.
Well, let's give it to you guys.
So, we also met with the governor's office and had the same.
Tricky down there.
Had this exact same conversation. I think that the appropriation is a much better approach than the alternative of a January 1 enactment date.
Okay,
But I'd sure like to hear from the clerks in DFS on this,
you guys, and the courts too.
in the courts, yeah. Whoever wants to come up first.
So, Mr. Chairman, just to be clear, we would have uniform fees, just like the original bill.
Yep.
The bill will go back to its original language with an appropriation for Department of Family Services.
Correct, for 1 year of funding, for 1 year of funding fees, filing fees.
So I'm Chairman, I'm Diane Sanchez, Clerk of District Court here in Laramie County, and obviously we would support that.
Mr. Chairman, Elisa Butler, State Court Administrator for the Wyoming Judicial Branch. I think we'd be supportive of anything that will make the filing fees uniform, so.
How about DFS? You guys like getting money? Director Schmidt?
Do you like getting money, but is this the right amount?
Is it acceptable? And did you see the amendment?
No, Mr. Chairman. Corin Schmidt, Director, Department of Family Services. If the budget amendment matches the fiscal note, then I think we would be good. Yes. The amount is correct, Mr. Chairman.
And the amount is such because the Department of Family Services receives a federal reimbursement of 66% for each case that it files? Is that how it works?
Mr. Chairman, we receive 66%-ish on everything that we spend on the child support program. It's fully matched. So regardless of the service we purchase, it is matched. So it's a pretty slim general fund budget because of that.
And the dollar amount was based on an estimation of fees based on the previous year? Is that, or is it an average over so many years? I didn't really look at the fiscal note.
Mr. Chairman, we based it on, I think, the filing fee number that was provided by the Supreme Court, the $388,000 a year. And then we have about 1/3 of those cases or 1/3 of those filings. And that's how we got the number.
Was that based on the previous year's filings, or what, where does that number come from?
Mr. Chairman, I can't recall off the top of my head. I want to say it was over the last 5 years, but I'd have to verify that.
Okay, that's fine.
It's probably not the most exact number, Mr. Chairman, but
But it's enough. Yeah, go ahead, Senator Cole.
And it can only be used for that purpose. Oh, and it only can be used for that purpose, so there's some sideboards on it. They don't expend it, then it doesn't get transferred.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Endicott?
as you may recall, it's going to be a budget year next year, and so the Department of Family Services will be in front of the Appropriations Committee approving their budget for the next year and, of course, seeing how this all works. So it should all be fine about this type of appropriation. Perhaps we should ask the department their overall budget.
let's not.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
And Mr. Chairman, so, Senator Nethercott will be on appropriations. She'll be watching for this, and I think it'll all work out. I don't know if anybody's online wants to speak. So I think if you guys are good with that, everybody, the motion would be to remove the Senate amendment and to further amend by adding this appropriation and creating this section. And, if we get two people on both sides to do that, then we can get that typed up and go to town.
Okay, any additional discussion, Representative Washit?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think as everybody knows, my original position was that we just push the effective date of the entire legislation back a year so that DFS would have their budget in place by that point. The downside of that would be that the additional fees would not be collected by the courts for another year, but at least they'd have a date certain. And my advocacy for that came from an expectation that that would easily pass on the concurrence vote in the House. All appropriations votes in the House this year have been sometimes surprisingly close. And so just so everybody knows that when we add this appropriation to our resolution of this conference, there's a chance it won't pass. And so then we will be back to square one with nothing. So that's my hesitancy.
And Mr. Chairman, that is a possibility. Today's Tuesday. I think we got 2 more days. If we get this distributed and voted on today, we'll have our answer. We could come back and try to do a different version without the appropriation.
Representative, are you good? I'm good. Okay. Yeah, Representative Washit.
Just a quick question on process. I'm assuming this gets re-referred to appropriations, or do we
No.
just take it to the floor?
Mr. Chairman, it would go to the floor. it's the same as adding our appropriation to a bill on third reading, in essence is what it's like. So, the general fund is only $50,000. I mean, we can do this.
Yeah, I'm not worried about
Fill the
it.
house.
I think we'll be able to sell $50,000, $47,800.
So on my side, who would go for that?
I'll support it.
Okay, on the House side?
Aye.
Let's do it.
All right, it's unanimous.
Let's get it written up. Thanks a lot, you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm saying